The wait is over and Walter is finally here, and with that we might even be seeing the final character in the Don't Starve universe, as this is the last of the 4 new characters that were promised way back at the start of 2019. But while Walter may be the last character to make it to Don't Starve together, he's the first to really focus on ranged attacks instead of the typical melee fighting that the game is more or less based around. He also spawns in with his own companion Woby, who I love so much already, and today we're just going to run through everything that you need to know about the 2 of them. Walter starts with 130 health and 110 hunger, making him the character with the smallest belly in the entire game, and one of the weakest in terms of health as well. Luckily, he really does thrive in the Sanity department with a maximum of 200 and a really unique ability that allows him to not lose any sanity from the environment, from the dark, from any creatures or bosses, and equipment as well. Meaning you can fight Deerclops at night with a dark sword and knight armor on without losing any sanity whatsoever, unless you get hit. And that's the main counterpoint to this ability. Walter takes a significant hit to sanity when taking any damage equal to twice the health lost, and will continue to lose sanity when below full health. This can be somewhat negated by wearing the new Pinetree Pioneer Hat, which you start with and can be crafted with 4 silk. This hat will last for 10 days and protects you from half the sanity you would lose from taking damage initially, as well as halving the constant sanity drain afterwards. This sanity loss will become much more severe as you take more hits though, and that's when the new tent role may come in handy. With 10 uses as well as a 50% reduced hunger penalty, this portable tent is definitely something you'll want on you to top up your stats again. And while Walter may not deal too well with taking hits, he's not afraid to dish out his own with his trusty Slingshot. Walter starts with one of these as well as 10 pebbles that deal 17 damage each, which is the equivalent of hitting something with a walking cane. Thankfully, there is a new Slingshot ammo tab that you can use to craft some more powerful ammunition. With a science machine, you'll be able to prototype the gold rounds and poop pellets. The gold rounds hit for 34 damage, the same as an ordinary spear, and the poop pellets cause the target to lose aggression. Unfortunately, this doesn't work so well in boss fights. Marbles are probably the best ammo that you can craft, especially since you can grow your own marble trees, and they do 51 damage, which is as much as a tentacle spike. Freeze rounds are crafted at the Prestidigitator with 1 moon rock and 1 blue gem, and do pretty much what you think they would do. Slow down rounds are also fairly self-explanatory, and while being useful to allow you a few more hits with your Slingshot, the moon rock and purple gem recipe is quite expensive in my opinion. To craft cursed rounds, you need to head down into the ruins to find an ancient pseudoscience station. Hitting a target with this round does 51 damage, as well as having a 50% chance of spawning a shadow tentacle, much like the Thulecite club. And on top of these craftable ammo types, you can also use melty marbles in the Slingshot as well, dealing out 59.5 damage, the equivalent of a fresh hambat. However, while the trusty Slingshot might be good in a few applications, it doesn't completely replace the need for melee weapons. The Slingshot takes a significant amount of time to wind up, meaning that unless you can kill your enemies in a few hits or they're very slow, you're going to have a hard time kiting them. And that's on top of the fact that none of the bullets even compare to a dark sword or Thulecite club in terms of damage output. And when you consider that Walter no longer even loses sanity from using a dark sword, there's really no reason why you shouldn't carry one as well. And if you need help carrying all these ammo types and accessories, then good old Woby is here to help. Unlike Abigail or Chester, you don't need to hold any item for Woby to follow you, and she'll happily carry up to 9 items for you. If you feed her a few monster meat or other monster foods, she'll transform into a much larger animal that you can actually ride around. A full stomach will give you roughly a day and a half of riding time before turning back into the small version again. Disappointingly, Woby is not very fast, and even at the top speed with full hunger, you would still be better off with a walking cane, but it's kinda nice, especially for the very early game. Woby is also very afraid of fighting, and will run and hide if she sees you hitting anything, even if she's 10 times the size of what you're fighting. And if you happen to take a hit while riding Woby, she'll boot you off and leave you for dead, but I still give her a 10 out of 10. Good girl. Also, yes, you can pet the dog. Thank you very much, Klei. Thank you for that. Having Woby also means that Walter loses the ability to adopt his own critter, which is a good thing or a bad thing depending on who you ask. Walter also has a few miscellaneous perks, no doubt from his time spent as a scout. He gains a decent amount of sanity from being in the vicinity of several trees, including tree guards, and when near a campfire or fire pit at night, Walter can tell stories which give back a bit of sanity to other nearby players. Walter can also cook food on a fire much quicker than usual and sings a nice little song when eating Glommer's goop or a tallbird egg for some reason. Unsurprisingly, his favourite food is trail mix. Walter is also allergic to bees, taking an extra 10 damage from every hit, including Bee Queen as well. And wearing a beekeeper hat doesn't alleviate this at all, unfortunately. In fact, Walter has little to no interest in clothing at all, and will not gain any sanity from any hats or outfits, including the tam, making you even more reliant on Walter's new tent and sanity foods in general. But with so many sources of insanity cancelled out completely, I don't see this being much of a problem for Walter unless your health is constantly low. Overall, I think Walter is a pretty solid character. I don't think I'll end up using the Slingshot all that much, but his abilities make certain fights a hell of a lot easier anyway. Maybe some of the ammo types will come in handy when playing with other people. I can also see farming birds will be a lot easier, as well as things like tentacles which don't move. Woby is absolutely a standout of the character, and having an extra 9 slots wherever you go is crazy useful. But anyway, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the new character. Will you be playing Walter yourself? Are there any other nifty tricks that you've encountered in your own gameplay? It's also worth keeping in mind that there will likely be updates to Walter in the future, and I'll try to keep a pinned comment below for when that happens. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm going to go pet Woby for the next 10 hours. Take care.